Hello everybody, this is week 6 of the current book group, Reading Just a Thought by Amy Johnson, and we're on to chapter 17 this week, which is all about mind's problem solving. There's a bit here on page 109, I'm going to read a little bit and then talk about it, and then there's a second bit I'm going to read. So Amy says, "Your chasing its tail mind doesn't save the day the way it says it does. It's more instigator, blame shirker and credit stealer than saviour. If your mind is such a good problem solver, where was it when the problem was playing out in real time? And if it's so smart and so full of clarity, why does it have to repeat itself so much?" So Amy's talking about how rumination of the mind happens, often after events, sometimes during it, but often afterwards, where it assesses and judges and critiques and says, if only you'd done that, or they'd done that, or said that, or and why didn't you, and maybe you should do this now to solve it and change it, and it creates this chasing round and round and round in the mind, because really what's happening is a thought is coming up saying that was wrong, and then another thought's coming up trying to solve that first thought that said it was wrong. But how do we know it was wrong? All we know is that it happened. And whether it's right or wrong is entirely a perceptual perspective in the moment, which is totally subject to change in any moment. So the mind is trying to solve something which has happened, however it has happened, which there are multiple perspectives on, but which the mind has decided, no, that was wrong. And in that limited false idea, it's then trying to layer on other ideas from its very limited data bank of examples, and judging and critiquing, as I say, and going, no, it shouldn't be like this, it should have been like that, and you should do this now to put it right. And you've all had that experience. I've had that experience too, that round and round and round of the mind, the ping pong back and forth of should I do this, should I do that, should I do this, should I do that? Really, really endless. Nothing fresh there, nothing new. It's kind of like an algorithm which is smart enough to match a story to the situation, but not so smart that it can see anything fresh. It literally can just, its only capability is to regurgitate what's already been programmed in. It is like a database, it is like working off your hard drive. It is not connected to the internet. It does not have infinite capacity and potential of what could come through. Because that infinite capacity, that potential of something fresh coming, comes from before the mind. So whenever you've been in one of those round and round experiences, do you notice how there's always a point at which that round and round stops, or the back and forth stops, it gets pierced, it gets broken through, which could be for seemingly no reason. It could be seemingly because you've had a cry. It could be seemingly because you've had a sleep, or gone for a walk, or taken a shower, or done some gardening, or done some cooking. Who knows? Because the only thing that we can definitely say happened in those breakthrough moments is that the activity of the mind stopped, or there was enough of a gap that something fresh could come through. That's the only thing that's ever going on that creates something fresh and something that we can actually move forward with, something that's actually relevant for this moment right now, rather than regurgitating over and over and over about what happened an hour ago, 2 hours ago, 2 years ago. And so the second quote speaks to that we've got the mind completely misunderstood for its role in our lives, and that there's something that we are before the mind, which is the capacity for fresh, the capacity for insightful, intuitive, responsive intelligence, perfect for this moment right now. So this second quote is, Amy says it's one of her favourites from Einstein, and it's pretty awesome. It's similar to one from Rumi actually as well, so if you listen you might recognise that. But Einstein said, supposedly, we know that lots of Einstein quotes get misattributed, but let's just assume it's Einstein. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift. The rational mind is its faithful servant. We've created a society that honours the servant and has forgotten the gift. And so that's exactly what's going on whenever we're in rumination, whenever we're in that round and round or back and forth. It's because we're honouring the servant. We're honouring this rational mind, which is very limited in its repertoire. It can only regurgitate. It can only tell us what's already been programmed in. And what we are, the master, the intuitive mind, the infinite capacity for anything, that's the one we want to be paying attention to. That's the one we want to be highlighting and recognising and going, wow, look at that. And then the servant comes rightfully into its role as secondary. The rational mind, the conceptual mind comes rightfully into its role as secondary. Really useful then. It just can't lead. It just can't hold a position as the leader. So see where this resonates for you in your life. Notice the round and round, notice the back and forth, but more importantly, notice the points of breakthrough. Notice the point at which that stopped and something fresh appeared. Notice that fresh, notice the fact that it happens. We don't need to understand where it comes from or how it happens or why it happens. We just need to notice the fact that it happens, and the fact that it happens all the more easily when we stop holding this rational, conceptual, repetitive, narrative mind up as the master. It is not that. So I'd love to know what you hear in this. Do share. And as I often say, if you want more of this kind of content, come and join the membership in Patreon, where you get the resources that go with the book group. You get extra exclusive content that I share for the book group, and a whole bunch of other videos, podcasts, articles. So if you love this exploration, it's like jumping into a sweet shop, as one of the existing members said. It's like a child in a candy store. Oh my God, look at all this. So if you want some of that, then I'd love to see you in there. I'll put the link in the description. Lots of love to you. Bye.